Okay, testing. Just making sure this is working. This is the video feedback for Lindsay's web-based learning tool project. So I'm just recording myself looking at it. And I'm looking at the first page. And the first thing I see is that it's very clear. There's no scrolling down on the first page. And everything is laid out along the front. Home, about, learning goals, pre-training. There's lots of information here, so it's clear that a lot of work has gone into it. So awesome. Right. So now I'm looking quickly at the About section, and the About section is just explaining what the course is for. So like I said, it's also clearly laid out, and it's meant for educators and for students. So now I'm going into the pre-training module, and it looks like you've got it set up in a table where we're going to be looking at some Google Apps using Canva, Newsela, which I've heard of before, and well, the final paragraph says consulting. I'm a paragraph, double click me to edit. So I think you just maybe forgot to delete that part, or something's going to be coming here later, so no worries about that. So I clicked on the first link that led me to create a Google account. So I think this is the first step, but let me go back and read first, because I think I clicked before I read what I was supposed to be doing. So Google Apps, you will use several Google Apps, Google Doc slides, and then there's a video tutorial. Okay, so I think that the first step is to make sure that you have a Google account created. And Canva, oh, maybe this just outlines what all the tools are going to be. And you don't necessarily have to do anything with it right now. So if I click on Canva, it's probably just going to take me to Canva's main page just to kind of show how to create an account. Okay, yeah, so this is just to create an account with all these tools. Okay. So now I know that the pre-training was set up so that you can see all the tools that you're going to be using, and thus create accounts so that when you have to use the tools that you've already got the accounts created, so you're not going to have to waste any time with that. So now I'm going into Module 1, where we're going to be demonstrating an understanding of a variety of media texts. So I've clicked on Module 1, but I don't see where I need to click on this page to do the next task. I'm assuming if you hover over or you click on, okay, there's a list of activities here. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to click on activity 1.1 and then read what I have to do. So there's a useful video here on media literacy, so that we would be watching the video and then answering the lesson questions. So if I click on the lesson questions, it just asks me to think about the lesson questions. There's no place to perhaps write them down. Maybe a Google Doc that we could have shared, but that's okay. Maybe these questions will be coming up later on. So I'm going to click the next button. Okay. Practice 1.1. Advertising. Yeah, so not sure. Okay, I see it here. So nothing. Yeah, it took a bit for it to kind of show up. The intended purpose of advertisement number 1. So I think there were some instructions that maybe should have gone at the top that we might have forgot to add here. But if I were to guess, yeah, I got, obviously based on watching the video, the purpose of the first one, that I would enter my answer here to here. Okay. I like that we can actually enter the answers directly into this website. We're not going to a third-party site. We're not leaving the website at all. So this is really useful. So when I clicked on the next button, it reads Show Your Learning 1.1, and I don't see any instructions here. I'm going to click on Next again and see what we need to do. You've completed Activity 1 and continued Activity 1.2. So So I've clicked where it says activity 1.2. So it just doesn't look like there's any content here, but I understand that there would be content in here that I would be looking through, and then I would just carry on from there. And I'll look at 1.3 to see if there's practice your skills. I'm clicking here, but it's not taking me anywhere. Just going to skip ahead to a later activity. We'll say activity 2.1 and see what's in here. And again, it looks like it's set up for material and content to come in here at some point. I'm going to just skip right to the end. Learning goals, so reflections. Yeah, I like this idea. I think that part of any kind of blended learning or online learning component should include a reflection element. Actually, any in-class assignment should include some reflection element, especially if it's a project or if it's something like this. I'm just going to click on activity 4.1. Yeah, and again, so I can see that there would be a place here for content to show up. I don't see any content in front of me. Now I'm starting to wonder if it's just my browser. Maybe there is content here and I just can't see it. So I'm going to jump over to a different browser just to see if it's my fault that's causing the blockage somehow. So just give me a moment. So I'm on a different browser now. So just like I said, it looks like you've got these modules set up with placeholders so that the content would show up in this area. So it's pretty straightforward. I can see definitely how to navigate through the actual module fairly simply. I'm not guessing at anything, so that's really useful. Yeah, so overall I see that this is set out really nicely. I think that it's set out with some of those principles of elaboration theory in mind, where learning is chunked into particular groups or stages with all the activities representing a different level of learning. So I can see that there's going to be a lot of opportunity to build this into the module. So if I'm looking at the grading component, I know that some of your tools, the ones that I've had a chance to be able to see here, as far as interactivity goes, you've been able to embed your form directly into your website, which I like a lot better, like I said, than having to go to a third-party website. I don't know that once you answer the questions that you're going to get some immediate feedback. I did answer, but it didn't seem to give me any immediate feedback. I don't know if that's just a limitation of the tool itself, or if there's any way, like in Google Forms for short answers, if the student enters the answer, there's a way for them to see what the right answer could be. But it looks like it's set up really nicely for the learner to be able to pace themselves and to be able to work through the activities as you've got them laid out. The navigation is well designed. You should be able to find your way through. Oops, I'm just reading over this. Yeah, no, I think that, like I said, I'm only really looking at your module 1, and it looks like you're showing a good amount of material in one place. There's not too much. It's not overwhelming or overloading. And the text is fairly simple, and it's short and it's concise. So as I'm reading through this, I know there's definitely some changes I got to make for my own. I think I put too much material in one section. Not sure how feedback is going to be set up based on what I see here. Like I said, I know with using Google Forms, there's a way to have Google Forms set up as a quiz to give immediate feedback for some types of answers. Obviously not long answers, but for some answers there's a way to do that. So I'm not sure how you're planning on doing feedback in this really important topic, but I'd be really interested to see what that looks like at the end. And it does look like you're using a wide variety of tools. I saw the videos, I saw the forums. Well, that's what I've seen so far. So hopefully we'll see more. And in your, I think in the About section, or was it the pre-training session, you outlined the different tools that you'd be making use of. Let me just check here. Yeah, so pre-training. So yeah, I'd be interested in seeing how you're going to be incorporating Canva, Nucella, and the Google Apps into the rest of the module. And from what I saw from one of the very first activities, about digital literacy and media, it does look like it would be challenging enough for the learners at that grade to be able to give them enough of a challenge and incite their interest in the topic. So overall, I would say you've got a good start. I like how the whole module is set up. I like the look of it. It's consistent and it's professional. It looks like it's designed well for the audience that you've chosen. It looks like the questions that I saw in the first module are meaningful and useful, and they're set up to, like I said, to segment and show the steps in this particular learning tool. Like I said, there's a few things I haven't seen yet, but I definitely see that they're coming. Just a way for how you would integrate feedback and that sort of thing into the module. But as far as navigation goes, the breadcrumbs are fairly simple and straightforward. And like I said, other than like if I clicked on module 1 itself, and this is the only thing that I might suggest, is if I've clicked on module 1 and I'm not hovering my mouse over it, I don't know where to go next, right? It just says, yeah, learn and go demonstrate an understanding of the variety of media text. And I know that we're not supposed to have double navigation, so that's why there aren't other steps laid out in here. But maybe just a little instruction to say, hover your mouse over module 1, go down to activity 1.1, and then that would take the user to the next stage. But other than that, I think it looks really interesting, and I look forward to seeing it when it's completely finished.